What up, y'all? Two Heady here, coming at you with a banger of a video today. Today we're talking about the time how I finessed the plug with two empty gift cards to give me a ride home. So this is a fucking crazy ass story. So let me start from the beginning. I met this chick online. I think it was on Snapchat or some shit like that, and she lived like an hour and a half away from me. And at this point, I had no car, no nothing. I was below the age of 16, so I couldn't have my permit or anything, and I didn't have a car. But I did live with my parents at the time, so I was like, "Hey, mom, like, would you let me go, like, bring me to go see this chick?" She's like, "Yeah, sure." So the first night I end up going there, and I was gonna go stay the night. So I go meet her at this school, and we end up chilling and talking to each other for a little bit. And we're just chilling out there for a while, like an hour. We just ended up toking on a bowl, talking, getting to know each other, you know? And then she's like, "Okay, we can go back to my house." I was like, "Oh, fucking bet, like, let's go." So we end up walking back to her house. It was like a half a mile fucking walk. And again, this is the same chick that I had her brother green out off of the diamonds that I brought. So this is all in like the same time period. So I end up going to the getting to their house, and she's like, "Hey, like, wait a second, we gotta go through the side door and like sneak upstairs." I was like, didn't really think of it right then. I was like, "Oh, okay, like, yeah, that's fine, that's chill." And my at this point, after my mom dropped me off, she was like, "Yeah, I really this was such a long drive. We're in the middle of nowhere. I really don't have time to come pick you up. Like, you gotta ride back." And the whole time I was like, "Yeah, yeah, 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 I gotta ride. I gotta ride." So I like didn't make her worry about it. But that was such a fucking lie. I didn't have a ride. I didn't even know anyone really that had a car. But beside the point, she's opened the side door. She goes in, looks around, makes sure no one's in there, and she comes back out. She's like, "Hey, yeah, we can come in. You can come in." So pretty much how their house was laid out was they had a big ass bottom floor. Then they had two different sets of stairs. They had one by the front door and one by the side door, and both those sets of stairs went upstairs to their rooms and then up to the attic, which was just like a little what was it called? A little loft area. That's what it was. So she sneaks me up this side stairs, and we go up into this little loft area. And the loft area was her fucking brother's room. So she ends up like telling him everything, or he wasn't there the first night, and we're just chilling up there, laying down. Just fucking paranoid the whole time. This is when she broke it on me that like, "Hey, my parents don't know you're here. I just snuck you in." I was just like, "Oh fuck, this is terrible. What did I get myself into?" So I'm just stressed to the gills already at this point, and I'm stoned as can be. So we just chill, kind of fucking cuddle, and watch a movie. I think we watched what was it? Afro Samurai. Yeah, we watched Afro Samurai and some Boondocks that whole night. I just stayed up pretty much the whole time. And then it gets to the next morning, and we're like, "Okay, everything's going good, like nothing's going bad." Then her brother ends up getting there, and she breaks it down on him. She's like, "Okay, like I just snuck this guy in. He's gonna be here for the weekend. Like, please don't tell mom and dad. Blah blah blah. Like, we just pretty much gotta hide him." He's like, "Okay, yeah, word, that's fine. I'll do that." Her brother was always chill. To this day, I still have him, like his contacts and shit. He was a fucking cool kid. But after that, I don't know. It takes like 4 hours after that for her mom to come upstairs, and her mom comes upstairs and ends up seeing us. And she goes down and ends up having a talk with her dad. And at this point we're like, "Oh fuck, what's going on?" I had to like hide in the corner and shit. They had a little cubby hole that was a little away from the stairs, and I was hiding in there. But her mom ended up coming in all the way to give him a hug and shit, and ended up seeing me, and had a whole fucking disturbance. She's like, "No, no, 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 like don't tell dad, blah blah blah." She's like, "No, I have to go talk to him. Like, I'll give you a little bit to figure things out." And at this point, I was like, "Fuck, like, what do I do? What do I do?" But at this point, I think it's time for a little dabarooski. Today, we got some GMO 90U hash raws from my boys at Nostalgia Melt. Absolutely gas. Fucking incredible. And today, we're going to be rocking the new Bomb Official E-Rig. This shit's going to crank. Cheers, y'all. Let me know what y'all are toking on tonight. Y'all are gonna see the thing fucking chugs. Bro, this shit, this shit hucks. Hands down the best E-rig like I've ever ripped. Actually, that's a lie. The Puffco was good, but for the money, this is fucking great. That shit got me cooked. That GMO is so fucking tasty. I always love the funky, just gassy notes of that shit. It absolutely wrecked. But where were we? So her mom ends up finding us and goes down and talks to their dad. And at this point, I'm just like, oh fuck. I'm just tweaking. So he ends up coming up and brings her downstairs, and I just hear him yelling downstairs. And apparently he'd like threatened her or some shit down there. She ended up coming up bawling, like, you need to fucking leave. Like, you need to go home. It's like, oh, okay, shit. So I end up trying to text and call my mom. That shit didn't work. She didn't end up picking up or anything. So I was like, oh shit, I'm screwed. So I ended up hitting up the only person I knew that had a car at this point, and luckily this guy was the plug. So I hit him up. I'm like, yo, this is like an urgent situation. I know you don't really do this, but anyway, like you could fucking give me a ride. I'm at this address and could you bring me here? It's like, oh yeah, I guess, man. Like, I'm driving around that area anyways. I can be there in like fucking 40 minutes. It's like, oh my god, you're a lifesaver. And he's like, yeah, give me like $150. I was like, yeah, word, I got gift cards if that's cool with you. It's like, yeah, I guess that's fine. So after that whole ordeal, her parents told me I had to go wait outside, like on their porch and shit. And they were like, "Yeah, she can go with you." So she ended up coming out with me. I'm sorry, guys. I'm fucking cooked off of that dad. But her dad and she ends up coming out with me, and we're just waiting out there. I'm just waiting for the plug to pull up, and he pulls up in this fucking Subaru STI. It was honestly a cool car, but it broke down all the fucking time. This shit was always in the shop, but he always bragged about it. But it's an STI, bro. They're not that great. I mean, I like them, but they're not like fucking. It's nothing special. So many people got an STI. But he ends up picking me up. He's like, yo, do you mind if we go stop by one of my homies' house and take like a bong rip or something? It's like, yeah, for sure, bro. That's chill. Like after what you're doing for me, that's fine. So we ended up going to one of his homies' house, which was another one of my homies that I went to school with. So I was like, oh, what's up? We ended up taking a rip and shit, and they're both like, yo, you know what we should do? We should go up to fucking IHOP and go get something to eat. It's like, yo, you need to be anywhere? It's like, nah, like, honestly, I don't need to be anywhere, but I'm fucking down with it. Like, no one even knows where I'm at, what I'm doing right now. It's like, all right, bet. And they both had STIs at this point. We end up doing a fucking pull all the way up to the fucking IHOP. It was like a 10-mile drive. We didn't end up hitting the pole until doing the pull until we were on the highway, and we are probably like 2 miles away from the IHOP at this point. They do a pull, they're trying to race each other, and at this point we see a cop fucking turn their lights off and flip around, and they had both had radar detectors in their car, so they're like, fuck it, we're going. We end up going past IHOP, taking a right, and there was this old warehouse of like storage units and shit that we just parked both the cars at. We just sat there for another hour waiting, listening to the fucking radio that they had in their car, listening to see if they were still looking for us. And after a little bit, we're just like, all right, yeah, I think it's like fine for us to go back in. So we end up heading to the IHOP. It's like a mile back down the road. We end up getting some food. I was broke at the time, and I didn't want to make anyone buy me food or anything. So they eat up and shit. We end up parting ways with them. And it was still like another 45-minute drive to my house. And I'm like, all right, bet, let's go. So we ended up going down there. He had to stop at a gas station before. He's like, yo, do you got any of that bread on you? It's like, nah, like it's at my house. I got gift cards, like some Visa gift cards for you. It's like, all right, word. So we ended up getting back to my house. And at this point, it's like 2:33 a.m. in the fucking morning. I have two dogs and fucking Jesus Christ, there are multiple people in our house, and both of my parents were home, and they had no idea what was going on. So I end up rushing into my house and grabbing these two fucking old Visa gift cards that were like 25 bucks max, two of them, just to let you know, and they were both empty. I feel fucking terrible about this, but they were both empty, and I ended up bringing those out to him. Like, yo, yeah, there should be like 70 on one and like fucking 100 on the other. It's like, oh, yo, bet, thank you so much, man. Like, it means a lot. Like, it means a lot too. Like, whatever. I end up going back in. My mom meets me as I'm walking in. She's like, hey, like, what happened? I was like, oh, I just like ended up needing a ride. They didn't want me at the house anymore. I tried calling you and you didn't pick up. Like, oh, okay. Like, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. So I end up going to upstairs and going to bed. I wake up the next morning and this kid's fucking blowing up my phone. He's like, yo, these are dud cards. There's nothing on these. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with you? He's just so pissed. And at this point, we could never get from this plug again. He hated me. He would never let me get anything from him. And he kept trying to get that fucking 150 bucks for long time. Like, he even bothered my older sister about it when we were in school and like would talk to my friends about it and shit. It was just a big ass fucking ordeal. But yeah, that was the time I finessed the plug with some fucking Visa gift cards. I hope y'all had a good day. If y'all enjoyed the story, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see y'all in the next video.